Good day, fellow Belizeans here and abroad and friends of Belize. This episode of Critical Pedagogy in Belize is dubbed Our Belize Education System is Failing and How It May Be Fixed. In May 2013, the Inter-American Development Bank released a report dubbed Challenges and Opportunities in the Belize Education Sector. Belize is paying a lot for education, but getting little. More youth are outside the school system than in it, and many fail to make the transition to the workforce. More and more youth drop out of school and become involved in gang activities. Action is needed if Belize is not to lose a whole generation of youth. Channel 5 reported on July 16, 2013, and I paraphrase, the results of the study published by the IDB and challenges being faced within education sector indicate that Belize is underperforming in comparison with other countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. In addition to outdated instructional models and materials still in use, teachers rely heavily on presentation and repetition, particularly in the area of math, where procedures, drills, practice, and memorization of concepts are often combined. As a result, students are too consumed copying from the chalkboard and entering numbers into formulas instead of participating in activities that may aid in the development of analytical and critical thinking skills. Clearly, the multi-ethnic diversity of the Belizean society is not reflected in the curricula. Subsequently, students do not engage in the lessons being taught because they are not specialized to meet their distinct needs. According to the IDB report, the issue Belize is currently struggling with is not an isolated case. In fact, evidence from other countries suggests that there is little connection between levels of public spending and academic achievement. What is equally unfavorable is that government's course of action has been centered on pumping more monies into education system with little attention to improving its institutional setup. Taking into consideration that wages and salaries represent over 80% of the total expenditures, the huge increase in teacher employment has led to a significant rise in public spending on education. Now, I want to make it clear that I fully support the teachers asking for an increase in salary. However, we must not be reductionists. We must take all other factors into consideration, for the IDB report clearly states that we as a nation is already paying a lot for education but getting very little in return. After doing some research, it seems that the Finland education system is so superb and effective that it keeps popping up in report after report as the epitome of what an education system should aspire to be. I began to ask myself why, and digging deeper, this is what I found out about Finland's education system. Since it implemented huge education reforms 42 years ago, Finland's school system has consistently come at the top for international rankings for education system. So, how do they do it? It's simple, by going against evaluation-driven, centralized model that much of the Western world uses. Finland children don't start school until they are 7 years old. Compared with other systems, they rarely take exams or do homework until they are well into their teens. The children are not measured at all for the first 6 years of their education. There are only one mandatory standardized test in Finland, taken when children are 16 years old. All children, clever or not, are taught in the same classrooms. Finland spends around 30% less per student than the United States, for example. 30% of children receive extra help during their first 9 years of school. 66% of students go to college. The difference between weakest and strongest students is the smallest in the world. Science classes are capped at 16 students so that they may perform practical experiments in every class. 93% of Finns graduate from high school. 43% of Finnish high school students go to vocational schools. Elementary school students get 75 minutes of recess a day in Finland versus an average of 60 minutes in Belize. Teachers only spend 4 hours a day in the classroom and take 2 hours a week for professional development. Finland has the same amount of teachers as New York City, but far fewer students. 600 students compared to 1.1 million in New York City. The school system is 100% state funded. All teachers in Finland must have a master's degree, which is fully subsidized. The national curriculum is only a broad guideline. Teachers are selected from the top 10% of graduates. In 2010, 6,600 applicants vied for 660 primary school training slots. The average starting salary for a Finnish high school teacher was $29,000 in 2008, compared with $10,000 in Belize. There is no merit pay for teachers. Teachers are effectively given the same status as doctors and lawyers. In an international standardized measurement in 2001, Finnish children came in top or very close to the top for science, reading, and mathematics. It's consistently come top or very near every time since. And despite the difference between Finland and the US, it easily beats countries with a similar demographic. Neighbor Norway, of a similar size and featuring a similar homogeneous culture, follows the same strategies as the USA and achieves similar rankings in international studies. This has been a critical pedagogy moment. Our education policymakers may want to emulate countries like Finland, who seem to have perfected their education system, well, at least compared to what we are dealing with here in the Western world. Our education system is failing and we need to do something about it. The methods we are using currently are not working, and that is quite evident from the IDB report. I have added some source links in the description of this video if you wish to do some further investigation into this matter. Again, it is always a pleasure talking to, learning from Belizeans here and abroad and friends of Belize. Have a great day, everyone.